Steelers, here we go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is our host, or that is our producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein. We got a bunch of great Steelers content coming your way. Coop, how you doing today?
I am swell. It's Victory Monday.
There's nothing like it,
man.
Monday, our 5th straight Victory Monday, and our 6th straight Monday as victors, because we had the bye week, and we were still victors at that point.
And we will have a Victory Friday and a Victory Monday.
I sure hope so. My friend. All right, so on today's show, guys, we got 2 segments. We got the latest Steelers news and rumors. Mike Tomlin took the podium today to break down this week's matchup against the Browns, gave some injury updates. I'll give you guys the latest on all that stuff, and then we'll get into my in-depth Steelers talk preview for Week 12 here for Thursday Night Football against the Browns. We got keys to victory. We've got trends. We've got a full scouting report on Jameis Winston as well. And then, of course, we have my score prediction for this week's ball game. So make sure you stick around for that preview. And make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon at the top of today's stream if you are a real one. And speaking of the real ones, you guys are here for every single live show. I know it. All right, and this week it's a little bit of a funky schedule because of Thursday Night Football. So, of course, we're live today, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You're here. Thank you guys so much for stopping by at the beginning of today's live show. Then on Thursday, Coop and I, we're going to be going live not at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Coop, the game starts at 8:15 Eastern.
So you're saying we're not doing a 3-hour
So we're not doing a 2-hour live. So Coop's going to change that there. We're going live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. An hour and 15 minutes before kickoff on Thursday Night Football. Then on Friday, we'll be having, hopefully, another Victory Friday live stream where we're going to be breaking down the events of that Thursday Night Football game against the Browns. And I really hope that we don't lose to the Browns.
It's not happening.
Really, really hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so if you guys want to donate to the channel and you guys want to tip me and Coop here for the work that we do, giving you guys free and informative Steelers content every single day here on YouTube. If you guys want to send in a donation, you guys can super chat. That's certainly one way you can do it. It's probably the easiest way to get on the show if you have like a comment or a question. But if you guys want to send in a donation where you want more of your money to go towards us to help us improve our graphics, improve our equipment, improve our office space. We're just going to start renovations here at Chat Sports here very soon. In fact, I think they're already underway, and that's all because of your guys' generosity. So if you guys want to send in a donation today, you guys can do so on Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal. At Jack-Sperry, #Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. Really do appreciate your guys' support. It's not required by any stretch of the imagination. We love and appreciate everybody that watches our show, whether they donate or not. Speaking of the people that are the bedrock of this community, these are the Steelers Talk Black Diamonds. These are the people that get a shout-out on every single Steelers Talk live show because they have put in at least $500 or more on a singular stream, or they have been donated their sticker from a benefactor like hashtag Platinum666 or hashtag Kurgan Cold. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. You guys will notice that there's a lot of Gold Club stickers on there. I still have to get to a lot of these stickers. I'm gonna have Cassie force me to sit down either tomorrow or later this weekend here and try to knock out some of these stickers. I want to give a big shout out here to all of our latest super chat or our latest Black Diamonds here. Christine Miller, Thick Klappa Unknown, and Wolf Vane Unknown and Wolf Vane joined us on yesterday's Steelers Talk Live watch party. So if you guys want to become a Black Diamond, you guys can donate $500 on a singular show. Or if you're a real one, we give away these Black Diamonds every time Platinum or Kurgan sends in a $500 super chat, and we give it to the people that are always in the chat, always liking the videos, always subscribing, all that great stuff. So if you want to help out the show, really do appreciate your guys' support. And tonight, I will be releasing my film study for the Steelers Week 11 matchup versus the Ravens. Going to be cutting up some film, and then I'm going to be putting my thoughts on Russell Wilson, the run game, the defense, all that great stuff on my X account. We can't put it up on the YouTube channel because we get demonetized, but we can put it up on the X account. So if you guys want to follow me at Jack_Sperry, going to be putting out a bunch of clips and a lot of analysis breaking down the film for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens tonight. So make sure you guys click that click that follow button on my account on X at Jack_Sperry.
Also the thumbs up icon, though.
And also the thumbs up icon as well. We got our first super chat coming in the day, and it's Logie, my man, says, Jack, I got approved for my house loan. Logie, That's awesome, my man. Congratulations. Everybody spam Logie in the chat to congratulate him, man. That's great stuff, Logie. Congratulations, my friend. And you know what that deserves, Coop? That deserves a here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. All right, man. Logie, congratulations. And before we start here, Coop, there's a member of our community. She's a new Black Diamond.
Yes.
She kind of just stumbled upon our channel a couple weeks ago, but she's become a very key member of the Steelers Talk family. Her name is Terza. And yesterday, during the Ravens watch party, they were having a little trouble getting super chats, and Joey got pretty excited when he saw the first super chat roll in on the Ravens rundown.
I haven't even seen this yet, so I'm very curious.
This is what it looks like.
Bay! We got a super chat, ladies and gentlemen. First one of the day. We got it going on here. Oh, also, that should not say final. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. That should say pregame tailgate. We've got our first super chat of the day from Tears of Bullware. Said, them birds going on the table for they. It's a Steelers super chat, guys. I got to put it up on screen, though. Guys, are we really going to let the Steelers channel come in here and outperform us today on Super Chats? Here's a $2 Super Chat. Well, that is man, that's depressing. That's depressing. Our first Super Chat of the day, and only Super Chat of the day, is from a Steelers fan. That's not good, guys. That's not good.
So, Terza, if you're watching right now, thank you so much for doing that.
Shout out
Terza for representing Steelers Nation on the Ravens rundown yesterday. She was also over here partying it up with us, celebrating our win against the Baltimore Ravens. But it's always good to stick it in the craw of the dreaded Ratbirds and their fans. Stick it in the craw. You never heard that? You've never heard that phrase? Well, it is a phrase, Coop. Coop is an uncultured swine. Now pause.
That's a Tomlinism.
That might be a Tomlinism right there. All right, so type those me's in the chat. Who's here right now, man? We got Michael Hansen here. Derek Smith is here. Says that was epic. Damian Roy says, no, I don't know what he says. He says Lucky Sloan is here. Christian Andujar, Dylan Lewandowski's here. My man Damian Roy is here. Terry Reed, Tristan White, Little Slush, Kareem Richardson, Family Ever After, Yurzo One Alpha. Coop, give some shout-outs in the chat.
I see Andreas, Tristan, George Pickensburg, Brock Walker, Josh, Family Ever After, Damian Roy, Nathan Glass is here.
Nathan, good to see you,
Nathan,
baby.
it's Browns week. We need something from you this week.
We need something from you, Nathan.
Send Sperry a DM, Nathan. We need something.
I need an audio message from you, Nathan
We
Glass.
need something.
It's just the last one when we had Browns week was just
It was fantastic.
It was unbelievable, man. So I need a voice memo from Nathan Glass this week. Hope we can make it happen there, Nate.
Do we want to play video number 1 and 2 in the preview?
Yeah, so we want to go number 1 first,
Okay.
the one we filmed today,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to say this is what it's going to look like on Thursday, and you play number 2. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, man. We've got a bunch of great Steelers
man.
content. We're going to have some fun today. Victory Monday here starting week 12 in the National Football League this week. We got Browns week here. It's a short week. We're going to have fun right here on Steelers Talk as we get ready for our week 12 watch party on Thursday night. First up, the latest Steelers news and rumors. Mike Tomlin gave the latest injury updates, all that great stuff. We'll be breaking that down at the top of today's show. Then we'll get into my in-depth Steelers Talk preview, which I know you guys love, that we'll get into here in our second segment. So we got a bunch of great stuff planned for you here on Steelers Talk Live today. So without further ado, let's get into our first segment today. The latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome back to Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today I've got the latest Steelers news, namely some injury updates that Mike Tomlin gave from the podium earlier today in preparation for Thursday Night Football, and then the All-22 of Steelers versus Ravens was released today, so I had the opportunity to watch some of that today, and I have some takeaways after watching the All-22 from yesterday's win. Before we get into the content today, go ahead and give me a follow on X if you haven't already. You guys can find me at Jack_Sperry. I put out daily Steelers and general NFL content on there every single day. And then also tonight, I'm going to be breaking down my film analysis of Steelers versus Ravens. I'm going to be cutting up a bunch of film, putting out my favorite clips from that Week 11 win versus those dreaded Ratbirds. So if you guys want to learn more about what happened on Sunday and why the Steelers were able to become victorious, make sure you click that follow button on X at Jack_Sperry. And we also started a brand new Instagram account here for our Steelers Talk, short form content here. So if you guys want more content from us here at Steelers Talk on IG, you guys can see us at Steelers CS. Okay, let's get into the content here today. First up, the latest Steelers injury updates. And we had a little bit of a scare yesterday with Keeanu Benton. We'll get to him in just a second. But first up here, the biggest name, Alex Highsmith. We kind of expected this. He's going to be out this week yet again. Mike Tomlin used the phrase he's more out than in heading into the week. So maybe, next week he could potentially get it going in Week 13 against the Bengals. We'll see on that with the mini bye coming up, but it's definitely looking doubtful that Alex is going to be out there on the field in Cleveland on Thursday. But then Keeanu Benton, his injury was quoted as a non-issue by head coach Mike Tomlin today, so we do expect him to be on the field on Thursday night, which is a huge sigh of relief after he left yesterday's game with an apparent injury. He did not come back in the game, but according to Mike Tomlin, it's a non-issue, and he's going to be ready to go for Thursday. And then last week, we talked about Cory Trice Jr. potentially being added to the lineup for last week's game against the Baltimore Ravens. That ended up not happening, but according to Mike Tomlin, he is somebody that's slated to potentially make a return this week against the Cleveland Browns on Thursday, and he was listed as a full participant on the practice report today. The Steelers did not practice today, but the NFL forces these teams on Thursday to put out a practice report on Monday, and he was listed as a full participant today. I'd expect him to be a full participant when this team practices in full tomorrow. So now, let's get to the film takeaways because the All-22 came out earlier today after I put out my first video this morning. You guys can check out that earlier video that I put out earlier today. I put that the link to that in the comments and description of today's show. But after watching the All-22, I have some more takeaways, specifically when it comes to the passing game. And there was definitely some issues with the passing game this week. And, I think it's easy to put it all on the quarterback in Russell Wilson. The 23 of 36 completion percentage is certainly not fantastic, especially when you're passing it 36 times. You're only getting 205 passing yards, had no touchdowns on the day, and an interception, and a red zone interception at that. So I can see why people are like, this is the worst game Russ has played in a Steelers uniform to this point, and they have definitely a decent argument for that, okay? But I also think that when you turn on the film and you really break it down in terms of what Russ has in terms of his options on every single play, I think he was far from remarkable. He didn't really elevate the offense all that much in certain spots, but he was also far from abysmal. I think there was other issues with the passing game on Sunday that go beyond just the quarterback in Russell Wilson. First thing I took issue with was some of the passing play concepts that Arthur Smith was dialing up. A lot of very simple concepts, sometimes some mirrored concepts that just weren't working and didn't give Russell Wilson a whole lot of options. Also, Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin weren't getting open as much as you would want them to be, especially Calvin Austin III. So really it was George Pickens, and that was really about it in terms of the options that Russell Wilson had at his disposal from a consistency basis here. And now I want to shift over to a play, and it's the red zone interception here, thrown to Darnell Washington. So you guys can see right here on the little blip, that's the football, okay? There's Darnell Washington. Could Darnell have jumped at least put his arms up, jumped up a little bit to deflected this pass? I think it's certainly possible. He's kind of caught flat-footed, and I think that Darnell played this football really terribly, honestly, and then, of course, it goes right into the hands of the Ravens defender. And, when I look at what Russ was looking at here, guys, this is the All-22 angle when he decides to throw the football. There's Darnell Washington. He is posting up a smaller defender, and Russ is trying to throw it over here in the back, all right? this looks like a throw that could potentially work. So when I look at Russell Wilson and making that decision to throw this football, throwing it up in the air to allow the big body Darnell Washington to post up his defender and go down with the catch, I understand why Russell Wilson threw it. Did he throw it maybe a little bit too high and a little bit too long? Yes. But also I think Darnell Washington's play on the football was absolutely atrocious. And yes, look, Darnell is looking right at Russell Wilson, so he knows he's getting the football. It's not like Russ threw it and he wasn't looking at him or anything like that. So I actually understand why Russ threw the football. It just was an unfortunate play on the football from Darnell Washington, and it ended up being an interception. And then when asked about this play today, Mike Tomlin said that he wishes Russ didn't throw the football. Now, this might be in reference to the result. Like, of course he wishes he didn't throw it because it ended up being an interception. But I also think that there was definitely an opportunity for a touchdown there. And if Darnell Washington comes down with that touchdown, we're talking about what a throw and what a decision, what a play Russell Wilson made with that play. It just comes down to the tight end ended up making the play, and he didn't, and it fell right into the arms of the Ravens defender. So let me know down there in the comments section, who do you guys blame for that red zone interception? At the end of the day, the Steelers won. It doesn't really matter, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Who do you blame more? Type RW for Russell Wilson or DW for Darnell Washington. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know who you blame for the INT. Now, when it comes to the passing game for the Steelers, it was certainly disappointing that they didn't get into the end zone, but it certainly wasn't all bad for Russell Wilson and this unit on Sunday. I thought they did have some good things that they had going for them in the passing game. Number one, Russ and George Pickens were definitely cooking. They were on the same page. Pickens ended up with 8 catches. They really did a good job with like this anticipation hitch route on the outside that they hit multiple times, sometimes in a row. And then, of course, they connected on that moon ball down the sideline, getting them into the red zone. I believe it was in the third quarter. Then you also got the ball to the running backs in space, both Najee Harrison on a screen, then Jaylen Warren multiple times in space to pick up first down. So I thought that the use of the running backs as checkdowns, Russ did a pretty decent job getting the ball to those guys. And then in the second half, he had 2 seam chunks to Darnell Washington against, I believe it was cover 2 looks. They spreaded it out, and I think it was the same play, just mirrored, turned around. And Russ hit Darnell Washington over the middle twice for huge gains. In drives that were really, really important for the Pittsburgh Steelers there in the second half. So even though Darnell Washington didn't make a great play on the football on that INT, in my opinion, he definitely made an impact of some sort there by getting those 2 big chunks over the middle of the field. Speaking of the Steelers passing attack here, I would say don't expect more out of Mike Williams this week. He played a pretty decent amount. He had an increased snap share this week against the Baltimore Ravens, but it wasn't a big increase. It was just 33.7% of the offensive snaps where Mike Williams was on the field, so that is less than 50%, and Van Jefferson definitely outsnapped Mike Williams in this one, so it certainly seems like he's still getting acclimated to the Steelers playbook a little bit, and because it is a short week and there's going to be less time to implement new stuff into Mike Williams' brain when it comes to this playbook here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would just expect him to probably be at the same level as where he was against the Ravens, and I'd expect him to be on the field anywhere between 30 and 35% of the offensive snaps on Thursday night. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, 3 more takeaways I'm taking away from the All-22 film that I watched earlier today. But before we get into those takeaways, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Public Rec. And let's be real, guys. Wearing nice pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric digging into your family jewels was necessary to go out and look put together? Well, I'm here to tell you that those days are finally over. Public Rec has developed the revolutionary Daymaker pants that feels as comfortable as sweats but looks and fits like tailored pants. They're super stretchy and made with an elastic waistband, but you can wear them absolutely anywhere. Wear them lounging around the house, eating Cheetos, or football Sundays with the boys, and also for that holiday movie marathon. You guys can even wear them on the first date, and no one will know you're wearing sweats. You can finally have indoor comfort with outdoor style by wearing Public Rec's Daymaker pants. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off their entire order when you use code CHAT at publicrec.com. That's 20% off your order when you at publicrec.com with promo code chat. And guys, what I love about Public Rec, two things. Number one, it's not just pants, all right? I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. It's super breathable. I wear them to work all the time. You guys probably see me wearing them on a bunch of different shows here because I love these shirts. They're so versatile. This is black, but I wore this during the summer a bunch because it is so breathable, so soft. And then when it comes to the pants, guys, what's the big deal breaker for me and what really was the game changer for me was their tailored options, all right? I'm tall and skinny, so it's very hard for me to find pants off the rack that actually fit my size, but with Public Rec, I can look really, really good in these pants. It fits my body perfectly because I can tailor the sizing to exactly what I need. Stop the suffering in regular pants today because for a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight because when comfort meets style, you've found Public Rec. Again, that is code CHAT20 at publicrec.com/chat20 for 20% off. All right, so another takeaway that I have is that the Steelers should play Justin Fields more. And this is something that I have said and I've advocated for ever since they turned to Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback. Because I think that Russ is certainly more efficient as a passer. He's seeing open receivers more often than Justin Fields was. But there's certainly instances where the defense knows that the Steelers are going to probably be running the football, that it would benefit the Steelers to have another rushing threat out there. Things like short yardage, 3rd and 4th and 1 or 2. Also, the low red zone. I mean, we've seen here over the last several weeks here that the Steelers' red zone offense is the worst in the National Football League right now, and they've gone 0 in the red zone twice in 4 games with Russell Wilson. 0 for 4 twice. All right, that is unacceptable, and maybe getting Justin Fields out there in the low red zone can help you out with that. And then as we saw yesterday, the 4-minute drill, it's the perfect time to have Justin Fields out there. The defense knows you're running it. They know that you want to run down clock, and why not have them account for another dynamic rushing threat in Justin Fields? And as we saw yesterday in the win against the Ravens, if they crash in on the running back, he can just pull the football and he can pick up first downs to win the game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this is a very valuable rusher and a threat at the quarterback position that the Steelers have on their roster. And I think it would be a mistake to not utilize his skill set as a rusher in these types of situations. Then number 4. Dan Moore Jr. has had a really good season this year. Okay, he really has, but he struggled yesterday against the Baltimore Ravens. So did Broderick Jones. We talked about Broderick Jones in the AM video here, but I wanted to highlight Dan Moore Jr. as well because he didn't have a good game either, in my opinion. He allowed 2 sacks, and he had one of his lowest Pro Football Focus grades of the season with a 54.5. So Dan Moore Jr. is somebody that has had a very good season this year, in my opinion, or at least where compared to what it was in previous seasons. I think he's going to get paid a lot of money by some NFL team. Could be the Steelers, could be somebody else this offseason because teams are always looking for quality left tackle players, to fill out their roster. So maybe the Steelers bring back, maybe they don't, but it was certainly an off night, in my opinion, for Dan Moore Jr. Yesterday against the Ravens. And then my final takeaway is when I was surprised about how well Ben Skoranek looked as a blocker in particular. He did have a catch as well as kind of like a check down option, but when Skoranek was in there, man, he gives 100% effort, and he plays with excellent technique at his size. When it comes to Arthur Smith, and we've talked about on this show for months, ever since they hired Arthur Smith, how much he loves bigger guys that can run block, especially on early downs. And that's why you saw Skoranek on the field so much yesterday, was because this guy is a freaking beast. Getting in there, moving people off the spot, clearing up rushing lanes for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. I absolutely loved watching this guy on film. Plus, he's one of the best special teamers in the National Football League, and he's helping the special teams unit out as well. So I love the pickup of Ben Skoranek. I can't believe, I believe it was the Houston Texans let him go earlier this year. And I think that he's become a really valuable piece to this Steelers offense and special teams units, respectively. I'm glad he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. All right, before we wrap things up here, we have our weekly Tomlinism of the week, and he was talking about preparing to play on Thursday Night Football, and he said this week we're going to be trying to fit 8 pounds into a 5-pound bag, and that's just the perfect Mike Tomlin saying right there, because obviously you're trying to pack in a bunch of stuff in just a couple days before you end up traveling to Cleveland here on Thursday Night Football. So you love the Tomlinism of the week this week. Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F down there in the comments section. All right, that'll be it for today's news and rumors segment here on Steelers Talk. Tomorrow, we're going to be putting out our preview for Steelers versus Browns on Thursday Night Football, so don't miss it. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. All right, first segment in the books, Mr. Coop.
What is your favorite Tomlinism so far this year?
I can't remember all of them. There was one, the first Tomlinism of the day I can't remember what he said, but it was
That
good.
was a good one.
I can't remember what he said though. But you know, there's a fine line between squashing grapes and making wine. You know, that one's always good. The standard is kind of the one that he's known for.
I think my favorite is that's why I'm well compensated.
Yeah, that's why I'm well compensated was a good one. A lot of good stuff. John Sennett coming in with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, John. Thanks for supporting the channel here, man. If you have a question you want to put, I guess we're not doing a mailbag today, but John, appreciate you. Then we got Dylan Lewandowski, my man.
What up, Dylan? Coming
in with a $5 super chat here. And he's got a very positive sentiment here to share with the entirety of Steelers Nation.
Is it positive?
It's positive for us. Tell you that much.
Not for others.
Not for others, though.
As soon as it loads, we'll get it on screen, Dylan.
Sounds good. We got Pittsburgh Steelers fan Aiden here. We got Ben. We got me and Green. We've got Splitman. Oh, we got Troy in here. What's up, Troy? Good to see you. Got Lucas Skew here. Got Michael Hansen. Terry Reed.
Why is it not loading?
Is it not loading, Coop?
There it is.
There it is. All right, $5 super chat coming in from Black Diamond Dylan Lewandowski. He says, F the Browns! F the Browns! F the Browns! Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Get ready to be doing a lot of that on Thursday, Coop.
Let's go, Bucks.
Why are you wearing the Browns color today, though, man? What the hell?
Texas Longhorns.
What the hell is that, man?
It's
Wearing the
Longhorns.
orange on Browns week? That's unacceptable.
Maybe I'll wear it on Thursday.
Don't wear it on Thursday.
This isn't Browns. This is Texas.
If you wear that on Thursday, I will make fun of you. And I will have them say F Coop in the chat. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Appreciate your support.
Just wait until you hear what Matthew Peterson had to say, man. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say.
That's all Coop's going to say. We got a great preview coming up here in just a second, guys. We got 250 people watching on a Monday. By the way, we're 9 likes away from getting to 100 likes. I'd really appreciate it, guys, if you click that thumbs up icon, get us to 100 likes. Here's what I'll say. Everyone who doesn't like the video today, they're a Browns fan. All right?
You're going to put that evil on people?
If you care about the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to click that thumbs up icon, all right? And by the end of today's show, we'll see everybody that doesn't like the video, and we'll be like, okay, that guy's a Browns fan watching Steelers talk.
We'll know for sure.
We will know for sure whether you like the video or not. Okay, let's get into our second segment, our second and final segment. It's an in-depth preview here of Steelers versus Browns heading into Thursday Night Football, and I can't wait to share with you guys my score prediction here.
We will get into it in 2 seconds. I just got to do something real quick.
Coop's got to do something real quick, so
Take
I'll
care
get
of some beeswax.
Sounds good. I will give some shout-outs here in the chat. Got Michael Hansen. We got Pickens Burner. We got Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8 telling everyone to hit that like button. Troy Phillip Buga says, got no better podcast to listen to while cooking dinner for my kids. LOL. Troy, appreciate you watching the show here while you're cooking dinner. What are you making for dinner, by the way, man? Let us know, Troy. What do you got? What are you making for dinner tonight?
And can we have some?
I mean, it'd be kind of cold by the time he sends it here.
Yeah, we can warm it up in an air fryer.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, Christian Andujar is here. He says, this defense is definitely Super Bowl caliber, 100%. I think that this defense has been Super Bowl caliber for a little while now. I mean, I think this year is the best version that we've seen in quite a while here, since at least 2020. I think that the linebacker play has been excellent this year. That's something we haven't been able to say.
We haven't beat anyone yet.
Yeah. Give me a break, Cam Newton. Give me a break, Dan Orlovsky. Oh, they haven't played anyone yet. They haven't played any good defenses.
Orlovsky, watch where you are in the end zone, dude.
All right, are we good here?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into it right now. F the Browns in the chat. Spam those F the Browns. We'll get into this preview coming at you right now. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Preview. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. This week, short week, Thursday Night Football on the road versus the Cleveland Browns. I got my keys to victory. I've got team trends. I've got a full scouting report on Jameis Winston. And, of course, at the end of today's show, I'll give my official score prediction for this week's Thursday night matchup. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of this week's preview. Before we get into it today, guys, make sure you click that subscribe button because we will be going live for our Week 12 watch party. It does start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, so make sure you join us. We had over 1,000 people join our family and click that subscribe button on our watch party or on Sunday when we played the Ravens. This week, primetime football against the Cleveland Steamers. It's going to be great, man, so make sure you click that subscribe button. And if that's not enough to get you to click that subscribe button, man, we are currently in a sub-battle this week with our frenemies here at the Browns Report, hosted by Matthew Peterson, and he hates the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, we're in the lead. 31 new subs to just 16 for the Browns, but he has been jacking up his fans over there on the Browns Report, and they are going to want to beat us because they got nothing else to fight for over there at the Browns Report. This is what Matthew Peterson had to say about the Steelers and their fans earlier today.
Kudos to the Steelers. They're having a very good season, but it's not even all that deep down. Steelers fans know another first-round playoff exit's coming.
So he's pretty, he's acknowledging there that the Steelers have a good season so far, but he's also saying, oh, yeah, you're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. Well, guess what, Pete? You're going to have to watch the Steelers win in the playoffs this year. I'm pretty sure this is going to be your reaction when they do so.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof.
Those are the weakest woofs, woofs.
Lick my balls, you.
Look at the lifeless eyes in his face right there when he has to do that. That was from last year's playoff stream when they got killed with Joe Flacco at quarterback. I'm expecting the same kind of result this weekend, Steelers versus Browns. So make sure you help us win our sub battle today by clicking that subscribe button. And new viewers, we are counting on you guys. There's a bunch of people that watch this show already subscribed. They can't help us out here. It's only new subscribers. So if you're new here, you want to help us beat the Browns Report, click that subscribe button right now. Okay, let's get into the preview here. The 8-2 Steelers will be traveling to Cleveland on a short week here after a very physical game against the Baltimore Ravens, and they're going to be going up against another AFC North rival in the Cleveland Browns, currently sitting at 2-8 and coming off a 35-14 loss on the road, coming off a bye against the New Orleans Saints. Now, I will say this, guys, okay? If the Cleveland Browns are going to beat the Steelers this year, this is kind of the circumstances that they would do it, right? Short week, so there's less time to prepare. Coaching matters a little bit less in these types of matchups. Also on the short week, like I mentioned, plus Pittsburgh just played a very difficult opponent in the Baltimore Ravens, and they might be a bit gassed, all right? So if Cleveland is going to pull off an upset against the Steelers this season, it's probably going to be in this game. Now let's dive into what you guys can expect from the Browns in terms of their scheme. Kevin Stefanski, two-time Coach of the Year, even though he only has about a 500 career record with the Cleveland Browns as their head coach. The offense that they run, it's kind of a Stefanski-Dorsey hybrid where it's kind of like the classic pro spread offense and then also like the second generation of the West Coast offense. It's kind of a really weird mix, and it hasn't really worked for them this year, if I'm being completely honest, whether with Deshaun Watson or with Jameis Winston. But then on defense, they run a lot of man. They run a lot of blitz with Jim Schwartz as their defensive play caller. It was an elite defense last year. Not so much this year, but we'll talk about that later in today's show. Here are the 10 games and the results so far for the Cleveland Browns. The only teams that they have beaten are the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in week 2, and by a slim margin, I might add. Then they somehow beat the Baltimore Ravens at home in week 8 in Jameis Winston's first game as the starting quarterback. Every other team that they have played, they have lost, including last week, coming off a bye, I might add, 35-14. So they got killed by a team like the New Orleans Saints, who just fired their head coach. That is how bad this Cleveland Browns team has been so far this year. You take a look at the injuries that they're going to be dealing with this year. Of course, Deshaun Watson is out for the season. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is dealing with a neck injury. He's going to be on IR. He will not play. Same thing with DeJuan Jones. He's going to be out. He just suffered a season-ending ankle injury. And then James Hudson III, another one of their tackles, is on IR with a shoulder. So the key offensive pieces for the Cleveland Browns: Jameis Winston is their starting quarterback. Nick Chubb, who just came back from that injury that he suffered against the Steelers last year. I believe it was on Thursday Night Football last year when Minka hit him, and he was out for all the way till into this season. He's only played 3 games so far this year. Jerry Jeudy is their number 1 receiver with Amari Cooper now with the Buffalo Bills organization, and then David Njoku is a pretty nice receiving weapon over the middle at tight end. So you look at the offense for the Cleveland Browns with Jameis Winston. He's started 3 games to this point. You take the numbers that they have had and where they would rank among the National Football League teams right now: 27th in points, 18th in points per play, 6th in yards per game, which is a little bit funky there. But then the third down and the red zone, not very good whatsoever. They have been awful in the red zone with Jameis Winston, by the way. Just 16.7 of their red zone trips have been touchdowns. I think they've only had 6 red zone trips. Only one of them ended up being a touchdown. They've given the ball up 4 times in those 3 starts. So you take a look at the team trends here with the Browns offense with Jameis Winston and where they rank versus the Steelers defense. And obviously, it's no comparison, all right? The Steelers have a bona fide top 10, arguably top 5, arguably top 3 defense in the National Football League. It is an elite crew. And it just shut down the number 1 offense in the league last week in the Baltimore Ravens to just 16 points and turned the ball over 3 times. So, I mean, if they're turning the ball over 3 times against Lamar Jackson and that Ravens team, which was first in the NFL in turnovers heading into last week, versus Jameis Winston, I mean, I think that there's going to be probably some turnovers and some opportunities to do that this week. The points per game trends here: the Browns are scoring 17.6 points per game with Jameis. The Steelers are giving up 16.2 points per game throughout the season, so that would predict around 17 points for the Cleveland Browns on Thursday. Then you look at their key defensive pieces. Myles Garrett, of course, Defensive Player of the Year last year, should have been T.J. Watt, but I won't go into that one. Then Denzel Ward, their number 1 corner, very, very good in man coverage. Might be taking away George Pickens, so keep your eye on that. Dalvin Tomlinson is a very good run-stuffing defensive interior player. And then Greg Newsome is another young up-and-coming corner in their secondary as well. Having an off year after having a really good season last year, but I digress. Take a look at the team trends here with the Steelers offense with Russell Wilson versus the Browns defense. And this has been a significant step down for the Browns defense this year. 24th in points per game, 27th in yards per play allowed. The one thing that they're still doing a good job at right now is the third down defense. They get teams off the field at a top 5 rate, but they're not very good in the red zone. They don't create turnovers either. So I don't expect a lot of turnovers on the Steelers side of things. They usually protect the ball well, and the Browns don't take it away. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on here on the third down metrics, because the Steelers usually are slightly below average on third down, whereas the Browns are pretty darn good in that area. The points per game trends here predict 27.2 points for the Steelers. That's what their points per game is this year, and the Browns are giving up 24.8. So if you cross-reference those, the Steelers would score 26 points if you believe the trends, which of course would predict a 26-17 win over the Cleveland Browns. And when you're talking about averages and you're cross-referencing and all this stuff, a 9-point deficit is a lot when you talk about these trends predictions. So the trends clearly point to the Steelers being the favorite heading into this football game. And coming up here on Steelers Talk, keys to victory versus the Browns. I got 5 things the Steelers need to do to secure victory on Thursday night. Then I got a full scouting report on Jameis Winston, the starting quarterback for Cleveland, at least for now. And then we've got the Week 12 score prediction coming up at the end of the show. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you stick around to the end. And before we get into the rest of today's preview, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the best place to get real money sports action all on your phone. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Also, Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where each Tuesday Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. You guys can see here that the Prize Picks lineup for tonight's game between the Cowboys and the Houston Texans for us here. We took the more on rush yards for Joe Mixon, the more on field goals made for Brandon Aubrey, the more for fantasy points for C.J. Stroud, and the less for rushing and receiving yards for Rico Dowdle. If you guys want to get in on the action tonight, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you use code CLNS after playing your first $5 lineup on the Prize Picks app today. Prize Picks, run your game. So here are my weekly keys to victory. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. You want to win the line of scrimmage. You want to win on the weighty downs on both sides of the ball. Same thing in the red zone. You want to win situational football. You want to win the turnover battle. Don't beat yourself, and then make the play in the fourth quarter to seal the deal. Okay, so those things are always going to be keys for me. But now let's talk about the more specific keys to victory versus the Cleveland Browns here on Thursday Night Football. The first one is to take advantage of mistakes from Mr. Jameis Winston, because they're coming. All right, plain and simple. You just got to be ready to take advantage of them. The Steelers did a great job doing that, forcing fumbles, all this great stuff against the Baltimore Ravens. He had one interception. Those opportunities are going to be there against the Cleveland Browns, plain and simply. Take a look at my scouting report for Mr. Jameis. He is a backup quarterback, maybe bridge-level quarterback. Arm strength is good. Playmaking instincts have always been good, even going back to Florida State, and then decent pocket presence as well. He can move around, and he's got some decent playmaking chops. And then from time to time, he can play within structure, but usually the decision-making is not very good. This guy holds the record for the most interceptions in a single season, for Christ's sakes. And then also the poor footwork has always been a thing with him. And then the inconsistent accuracy is a byproduct of poor footwork. Anybody that knows quarterback mechanics would tell you that as well. He's a bottom-tier starting quarterback, in my opinion. He's got some good arm talent, but the inconsistencies are certainly there. Here are his 2024 stats. As we speak here today, a 61.4 completion percentage, just over 1,000 yards in 3 games started. He did play a little bit in another game where Deshaun went down, but then the 7 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. It's decent, but certainly not getting the job done enough for the Cleveland Browns at this point. Then we get to Mr. Chubb here, as Mike Tomlin calls him, Nick Chubb. This is going to be the first time he's played the Steelers since his injury, all right? So this is going to mean a lot to him. And I think that Cleveland is really banking on him to be kind of the game-wrecking player that he was before his injury. But if the first 3 games of his season are any indication, he is definitely not that anymore. 16 carries in that season debut against the Ravens, only 52 yards. That's not a very good average, by the way. Then it was even worse against the Chargers in Week 9 with 15 carries and 39 yards. And then because they were down for most of the game, less carries in Week 11 against the Saints. 11 carries for 50 yards. It's a little bit better. But it's certainly not at the level that he was when he was the true Mr. Chubb all those years back. So, right now the Steelers are doing a pretty good job against these rushing attacks. They did a really good job against Derrick Henry. They allowed just 1 explosive run for him on Sunday's win. And right now they're allowing just 4.1 yards per carry, which is 5th in the NFL in terms of the run defense. So I do expect the Steelers to really hone in on Mr. Chubb this weekend here, or not this weekend, on Thursday night. And I don't think he's going to be very successful in this one. We shift over to the offensive side of the ball here for the Steelers, and you got to move the chains, okay? Situational football was not good for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Ravens. I think they were 4 of 17 on 3rd and 4th downs this past week, guys. That's not going to be good enough, okay? You need to get things going. And against a kind of bad defense like the Cleveland Browns, you expect Russell Wilson and this team to move the chains more often than they did against the Baltimore Ravens. And if they convert on 3rd down, the Cleveland Browns have shown that if you can convert 3rd downs on them, they absolutely crumble, plain and simply. They're pretty decent on 3rd down, but they're terrible at everything else. They give up big plays down the field. They give up touchdowns in the red zone. They give up a lot of points, and they don't turn the ball over. So the only thing that they can really hang their hat on right now is stopping a team on 3rd down. If the Steelers can overcome that and convert and move the chains, they're going to win this football game by quite a bit. Then another area of situational football that the Steelers need to be better in is in the red zone. Okay, right now, if you took the Steelers' red zone percentage in the games where they played the Washington Commanders and the New York Jets, they have a 7 of 10 touchdown percentage in the red zone. That's 70%. That is an excellent number from Russell Wilson and the Steelers. Okay, so that's 7 and 9. Then on the off weeks here, on 8 and 11. They're 0 for 8 in the red zone, okay? So that is just not going to get it done, and you can't go 0 for again, okay? Plain and simply. I'm going to chalk it up to 2 bad games. There's some penalties. There's some misfortune, let's call it here, for Russell Wilson and the Steelers offense in the red zone in those 2 games where they went 0 for 8 in those 2 ball games. And I'm hoping against a bad red zone defense in the Cleveland Browns, the Steelers are going to explode and get in pay dirt. Okay, final key to victory is don't beat yourselves. Now, I had this on the Sperry's Keys every single week, but I want to emphasize it this week because the Steelers are clearly the better football team, all right? And as long as you aren't committing dumb penalties, as long as you aren't turning the football over, as long as you're doing your thing on special teams and not completely doing an idiotic job on special teams, you're going to win this football game, plain and simply, guys. And because of that, I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game 27-13. And honestly, when these two teams play in Acrisure Stadium a few weeks from now, I think it's going to be even worse than 27-13. All right, I'm giving the Browns a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here because the Steelers are going to be a bit tired and fatigued after that Baltimore game that took a lot out of them, and it is on a short week. So I do think it's going to be a little bit closer here, but I mean, I have them winning by 2 touchdowns here, so that just tells you how much of a mismatch I think this matchup is. So now it's your turn. Let me know down there in the comment section. Predict the score of Steelers versus Browns for me down there in the comment section. I got 27-13. Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comments. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support and you guys making it to the end of today's show. We have in-depth previews like this every single week for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're also going to be going live on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss it. Join us for the largest Steelers Talk watch parties here on YouTube, 100% free, by clicking that subscribe button right now. All right, so Monday Night Football, Coop. We considered going to this game tonight.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys
It's a joke.
stinking it up. It's kind of a joke.
Also, they are opening the roof for the first time in like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is it supposed to be that
It's gonna be
mild
nice.
tonight?
It's going to be nice out.
Okay.
So they're opening the roof. I think Jerry's doing it as a statement as far as the curtains go. But also, a huge piece of metal fell from the roof and almost hit somebody today during pregame.
What?
The stadium's falling apart? No way.
Apparently, they're closing the roof in AT&T. That's hilarious.
What a
man.
joke of an organization the Dallas Cowboys
The Cowboys are a joke of an organization, man. So, 6-4 Texans on the road playing the Cowboys, and it's the Cowboys. They're going to have a lot of primetime games, unfortunately. There's a lot of teams that got a lot of primetime games this year. The Jets is definitely the main culprit. They got a bunch of primetime games, and they just suck.
They're awful. Aaron Rodgers is bad.
And by the way, Houston might be the worst 6-4 team in football.
They're not very good.
They're not very good,
Yeah.
man. They lost to the Jets. They got killed by the Jets. Like, I don't know, man. The Texans play with their food a lot. They're better talent-wise than a lot of the teams they play, but they have played down to their opponents consistently this year.
They will not lose to this team tonight.
I honestly think, I don't think they're going to lose, but I think they're going to play with their food like they usually do. I'm going to go 24-20. Texans win. Cowboys suck, but I think that the Texans are going to play down to them.
I'm going 27-3 Texans.
3 points? Is CD playing?
I don't know if CD is playing, but that doesn't even affect my score prediction, to be honest. They have Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush
playing.
is that bad? I mean, okay. I mean, all I know is there's been multiple games this year where I'm like, the Texans are going to kill this team, and then they either play down to them and beat them by 1 score, or they lose to them.
I think Coleridge will prevail tonight.
All right,
Have a good game.
we will see, man. I got 24-20 Texans. Coop's got 27-3. That's unbelievable, man. All right, so if you guys want to keep the conversation going, you guys can send in a super chat. We'll put up a super chat countdown here of 2 minutes, and then we'll get out of here. If you guys have something you want to say before we head out for the day, you guys can put it up on super chat here in the next 2 minutes.
By the way, guess what's not built?
Yeah, of course it's not. Jesus.
What a joke.
Dylan Lewandowski says, good stream, guys. Appreciate
Thank you, Dylan.
Troy says 23-24 Cowboys.
Cowboys will not win.
Troy thinks the Cowboys win tonight. That'd be crazy, man. If the Texans lose tonight, their season's over.
It's done.
Their season's over if they lose tonight,
Yep.
in my opinion. Hip Hop Anonymous says he thinks the Steelers will beat the Browns 9-3 because they can't score a touchdown to save their lives. Well, I mean, like we talked about, it's kind of a mismatch of weeks, right? It's like it's back and forth. It's Jekyll and Hyde. 1 week they go like 4 for 6. The next they go 0 for 4.
Exactly.
The next week they go 3 for 4. The next week they go 0 for 4.
No doubt.
Right? Like they just go back and forth between having a great day in the red zone and having a shitty day in the red zone. And I think this week against the bad Browns defense, I think, if you're putting yourself in position to score, I think that they're going to do it.
I think you got a cash app.
Did I just get a cash app?
I think so.
I did. All right.
Nice.
I will send this to you, and we will hit this before we go.
Nice.
And we've got a score prediction with this one as well.
Okay.
Zachary Shower says, great stream, guys. I got 24-20 Texans. Exactly my score prediction. Great minds think alike there, Zach. I hope I can call you that. $10 super chat from my man Colton. Colton put in a $100 yesterday, I believe. So Colton banged for us yesterday.
Colton.
Pause. So shout out to Colton. And he says he thinks 27-10 Steelers this weekend or this Thursday. So it's close to what I have. I have 27-13. What do you think for that game, Coop? By the way, you haven't given your score prediction for that.
I think it's right in that range as well. They'll win by 2 scores. I'll go like...
But like I said, if they're going to lose to the Browns, it's going to be this game. I think there's close to a 0% chance they lose to them in
Give me
Pittsburgh.
like 23-10.
23-10 Steelers?
Yeah.
So what, 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Boz 3 for 3 once again.
Yeah, I mean, of
Is
course.
he the best player on the team?
No,
TJ
Watt's the best player on
Boz
the team.
is up there.
But Boz is definitely up there right now, man. I would put him maybe just behind Brandon Aubrey for the best kicker in football.
Absolutely.
Like, Justin Tucker's not
I'll
that
tell you, Justin
not that
Tucker's
guy anymore.
cooked.
Evan McPherson, not that guy.
Missed a couple last night.
Missed a couple last night. In the same fashion as Justin Tucker, he
Mhm.
shanked both. So I did I just get another one? No, it's the same notification. All right, man. That's going to be it for today's show. Appreciate everybody stopping by today. We'll be back live on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Thursday Night Football. F the Browns.
Bye,
Go
Mom.
Steelers. We'll see you guys later. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.